topic is light. Introduction to the light, but we will cover the most important point, which is laws of reflection. Okay, and I'll prove that with an experiment shown over here. But first, let's start with the introduction to the light. The world as we know is largely known as through the senses and the senses of sight. One of the most important senses, it is only when the light from the object enters to our eye and we see. Okay, now I'll explain you. Here I have a mirror. So when I see that a light reflection comes to the mirror and my face is seen in the mirror. But how can I see now? So again a reflection goes to in my eye and then I can see the image shown over here. Now you have also seen that when a bowl of water put in a place, maybe you can see the moon or reflection. So reflection can also conducted in the water. Okay. Now let's go to the luminous object and non-luminous object. What's luminous object? Luminous object have their own light. They can emit their light by own. Okay. For example, sun, on bulb, or candle, anything like that. But in non-luminous object, they can't emit the light by its own. For example, what happens in this? Light comes to this and then I can see it. They don't have their own light. Okay. So for example, anything, table, chair, phone or anything you can see. But now over here in this case, this right now, this off phone is non-luminous object. But when I on this, it emits the own light. It has its own light now. So it became a luminous object. Okay. Now, how do we see objects? Our eyes alone do not allow us to see. Light from source falls on an object and then it bounces off into our eyes, and that is how we see it. Okay, for example, we can't see this object. How can we see this object? Is basically light coming here and then it bounces in our eye. So that's why I can classify this as a pen or anything. Okay. Now, I would like to explain you two main laws of reflection. So let's get started. When the light rays falls on the smooth surface, the angle of reflection is equal to angle of incident. How this works is basically I have a plain black line, which is assume that it's a plain surface. Now it says that the incident ray falls over here at this point. So it will have a same angle the reflected ray. It will if this is 90 degree, then this will also attract on the 90 degree. It will not change 30 or so. Okay, this will be the same. So it says it has incident ray and reflected ray are equal. So I is equals to R. Now you have understood, but let me make you more clear by a simpler way. Assume that you are standing on a building and you are reflecting the light downstairs like this from a building. The point you are reflecting you are giving the light, it is called incident ray. Then it bounces at the surface. You know how the ball bounces? When we throw the ball, it comes up again. Okay. So same case in the light, it goes down and then again it reflects on the reflected ray. It goes at the same point. So in the degree that it is incident ray, the same degree it will reflect up. Okay. And that's why it is called I is equals to R, because it goes on same degree. If this is 30, this will be 30. If this is 40, this will be 40. Okay. Now, second law. The incident ray and the normal at the point of the incident and related ray the line in the same plane. Okay. So, for example, you know this the plane like something looks like this. Okay. At the same point. But this will be at the same ray, at the same plane. Okay. That will not change its plane. Now, I would like to show you two reflections. Regular reflection and diffuse reflection. First, let's see the regular reflection to make clear. This looks like this. Regular reflection has, I have shown a plane surface over here which you can see. It reflects at the same, its incidence ray is the same and equal to the reflected ray. They both are same, you can see. Okay. plane, mirror or any other surface that is processed as reflected image. Because that is clear, that's why we can see the image clear. Something like this. This is a flat plane surface which you can see. I can see my face over here with a clear image because it is a plane surface, smooth surface. Okay. Now, what is diffuse reflection? In diffuse reflection, we have uneven surface. The surface is not equal at all. Okay, this like a surface that we can see but does not reflect an image. Now, assume this silver foil paper, which is kind of a mirror. Okay, first you can see your image, which we saw when is the plane surface. But when I crumble, which is uneven surface, something like this. Okay. Now it is not a plane surface, it is uneven surface, you can see. Now I can see my image blurry and it will be more bigger and not so clear. Okay, so this is basically diffuse reflection, and the one plane surface is the regular reflection. Now, keep in mind that light is always going in a straight line. But when the light interrupts by an object, it changes its direction. For that, I'll show you one example over here. I have two examples, convex lens and concave lens. Let's first start with the convex lens. Convex lens is shaped as a bowl we also have in our eye, and for here I have a right over here that in middle convex lens is thicker and in in size it's more thinner. Over here I have drawn a convex lens, and the black line is the principal axis. Now the light goes from it, but it gets interrupted by a convex lens in between. Here at the black point you can see that is our focal point. It focuses on the focal point because it changes its direction when it interrupts by an object. Okay, and that the length between it is called focal length, and this is our focal point where the light reflects. Now we are done with the convex lens, so let's go to the concave lens. Concave lens is shaped like this, where you can see over here we have a principal axis again. Now, and our focal point is right over here. Basically, the difference between it, they both are opposite to each other. In this, we had focal point after the object interrupts, and in this, we have before the object interrupts. Okay. Now, what happens when it goes through the light goes through the concave lens? It gets separate. This is basically it get diverged into different areas. Okay. And then again the reflection comes and attracts at the focal point. Here, at the focal point. Now let me give you an example for the convex lens. Okay. Here in convex lens, our examples are eye. Over I have convex lens. You can see in my videos. Then in magnifying glass we have convex lens. This is convex lens. Then we also have in camera the convex lens. Why in camera? Because if we click a person photo, when we click on camera, so it focuses the person. Then also in microscope and telescope we have convex lens. And then in concave lens we have scanner. Scanner, this type of scanner. Okay. So here I have maybe a 1.5 inch this, but when I put it on here on the table, it enlarges. It's more bigger. So that is because of the concave lens. So in this we have concave lens. Then in CD and DVD player we have concave lens, and also in camera we have concave lens. Now you thought that I told camera. Why? I'm gonna explain you. Because in camera, we also focus on the person. We also need the background around it to enlarge. We need more the picture of around also. So we click the convex. In the camera, we have both type of lens, convex lens and concave lens. Now let's do an experiment for the reflection. So we are going to do two things. First, practical with the mirrors, and then we also will do the formula to find the number of images in the mirror. So first, let's start with the how formula works. So over here, the basic formula is number of images is equals to 360 divided by theta. Theta is basically angle between the two mirrors over here. So, and then the angle between, we will write the angle between this, and then we'll minus it with the 1, and then we can find the number of images formed in the mirror. Okay. So now let's go with the mirror over here. But first, we have this 90 degree. Okay, this is basically 90 degrees over here. Okay, and then by using this formula, first I am going to show you. So let's say that we have 360, we'll use our formula, divided by theta, which is our angle between the between this. So let's write 90 because we have 90 over here, and then we'll minus it with 1. Okay. Now this is equals to 4. But when we minus it with 1, it is 3. Okay. When we minus it with 1, it is equals to 3. So 3 images will be formed over here. I will show you an experiment to prove this. So here I place a marker. This is 90 degrees, and you can see 3 images formed over here. So we are right that this formula and this experiment match together. For making you more clear, I am going to again show you another degree. So let's see, we have our again a 360 circle, and we have our 60 degrees over here. Okay. Now here we use a formula to find 360 degrees divided by 60 and minus 1. This is how our formula works, and when we do that, we get 6 images, 6, and then when we minus it with 1, that is equals to 5. So this experiment will form 5 images. Let's see now. Wait, let me change the degree. Now it's 2 over here, 2 over here, and 1 in the middle. Okay. So that is equals to 5. Now one more degree, just one, to make you perfectly clear. We have a circle over here. We have now 45 degrees. Okay. Yeah, we have a 45 degrees. Then we do into 360 degrees divided into 40 and minus 1. Our answer will be 8. And then we minus it with 1. So it is equals to 7. Now in experiment we will see that. So when I change it to 45 around this, and when I place a marker between it, you will see 7 images form in this, 3 over here, 3 over here, and 1 in the middle. Okay, so now you noticed one thing, that when mirror goes closer and closer, the number of markers in the reflection in mirror increases, and the farther it is, the less images it is formed. And that's got the reflection of the light. Thank you. I hope you like my video. Do like, share and subscribe.